What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Brittany. I'm an actress, stuntwoman, and personal trainer based in St. Louis, Missouri. And in today's video, I'm going to break down my current self-tape audition setup. Self-tapes are huge right now. They were really ramping up before the pandemic happened, but now that the pandemic's happened, I almost always have to submit a first round audition via self-tape, especially for film, television, and commercial projects. You're almost always going to have that first round audition be a self-tape. So it's really important to have a setup that works for you. Everybody has their own setup that works for them, and this isn't by any means a video to tell you what you should do with your self-tape setup. It's just to give you some ideas of what works for me. Hopefully you can figure out what works for you so that hopefully you can book some more jobs in the future. So with that being said, let's get right into the video. So the first thing I want to talk about is being seen, and there are a few things that fall under the umbrella of being seen for a self-tape audition, and that is camera, lighting, and backdrop. For me, I'm gonna put those three things under the being seen category. So let's start with camera. For my camera, I just use my cell phone. It's an iPhone 13 Pro Max. It has a really nice camera on it, and so I don't really have to worry about having a $4,000 gajillion camera to film my auditions with. While it would be nice eventually to upgrade to utilize something that is not my cell phone, having my cell phone is really beneficial, and if you have a cell phone that has a really decent quality camera on it, then that is a-okay. You don't have to go overboard with the camera you use for your auditions. The other thing I really like about my iPhone and using it for my self-tapes is that it has this cinematic mode, which I'm actually currently using to film this video for you, and it kind of blurs out the background, so it makes it feel more like I'm filming on an actual film heavy-duty camera. So I like using that for more dramatic scenes if I'm submitting for a film that is a bit more dramatic or something of that nature. It's a really nice look, but otherwise, again, it's not something that is necessary. It's just something that I have access to, so I play around with it and see what happens. Then you're gonna need something to hold your camera, and in my case, I have this tripod that has a phone mount on top of it, and then I actually like to use a laptop stand, and I shrink the tripod down to the lowest setting that it can go, and I place it on top of the desktop stand, or the laptop stand, because I actually feel like I have more control over the height of the tripod, because the tripod only goes up so high, and to get my eye line right, it's just really nice to have either a stool or a chair or something to set your tripod up on it, especially if you have like a shorter tripod like I do. I've had the tripod I've had for so many years at this point, and honestly I probably could use a new one, but we're gonna ride it out until it falls apart and it can no longer be used, because it's working for me now, so why would I switch it up until I can't use it anymore? I'm going to link down in the description box some links to all of the things that I talk about, or similar products that could be used if you're interested in looking those things up and trying to get some for yourself. So make sure you check out the description box below for some of that information. So now that we've gone over camera stuff, I'd love to hop into some lighting. So there are a few different ways that you can light your self-tapes. You just want to make sure that people can see you fully and that there's no ridiculous shadows on your face and you're not half lit, and you just want the casting team to be able to see your expressions clearly and vividly. So having good lighting is really, really important, and there are a few different ways that you can do lighting. My current light setup is just utilizing 2 softbox lights, and sometimes I utilize a ring light as well, depending on the look that I'm going for. But usually I'm just using softbox lighting, and that's what I'm using right now for this video. And this is called artificial lighting. Before I got my artificial lights or my softboxes and ring light, I used to actually just tape with the natural light from a window. I would set up a backdrop in front of it and stand in front of the backdrop and use the natural light from the window to light my self-tapes. You can also do a mix of the two, so you can have 1 or 2 artificial lights and then utilize a natural light from a window nearby, either for your side light or your front light, and just kind of switch it around and see what works best for you in that way too. I'm gonna put a link in the description below of the current softbox lights that I'm using. I'm not gonna lie, I do like them, but I wish they were dimmable. That's the one thing that I wish they were, because sometimes I wish I could create a mood in my self-tapes that I can't create because they're not dimmable, they're just really bright, and that's fantastic, and you can definitely see me, but sometimes I wish that I could make it a little bit more moody so that my tape reflects what it is that I'm trying to portray. Again, that is all very extra. You do not have to do that. As long as you can be seen, that is the most important thing. So now that we've talked about lighting and we've talked about camera, let's hop into talking about background or backdrops. Your background can be something as simple as a blank wall. It's preferred that the blank wall is gray or a blue color, but white will be fine. White just tends to wash out most people, so I tend to stay away from white in general. But currently what I'm using is actually this collapsible backdrop that has both a gray side and a blue side. And it's from B&H Video. I ordered it forever ago. It was out of stock for so long, and then it finally came in stock and I ordered it, and it's really a relatively inexpensive backdrop, and I use it all of the time. I use the blue side typically for more fun, for more theatrical projects, more upbeat commercial projects, anything that kind of portrays vibrancy. And then I use the gray backdrop for everything else, so drama, anything with a little more seriousness to it. It just reads a little bit better for me. When I was living on the road in my camper, it was really nice to have that backdrop because it was collapsible. So when I didn't need it, I could collapse it back up into the bag and put it away. And when I did need it, I could open it back up, and it was just really travel friendly. So I highly recommend this backdrop. I'm gonna link it down below in the description box as well, so definitely check that out. The goal of having a background, whether that's a plain blank wall or a collapsible backdrop or whatever kind of backdrop that you have, is to eliminate any distractions. So it's really nice to have some sort of backdrop where it's totally blank, because that gives the casting the ability to focus on you and not all the shit that's behind you. So it's definitely important to have some sort of a plain blank backdrop, whether that's a wall or a backdrop that you've purchased. Okay, I want to switch gears here and go into being heard, and I'm laughing at myself right now because one of the things I wanted to talk about in this video literally just happened to me at the beginning of filming this video for you. Here's my #1 tip for audio, especially if you're using an external microphone, is to put your damn phone on airplane mode, because if not, for some reason, you're gonna get feedback. I don't know why, but I'm gonna insert a clip here for you to hear one of the clips that I was recording earlier in this video. Just as long as it gives a good quality picture that you can send to casting and agents. And I've been doing this for so long and I still forget to do it, and then I have a really good take of something and I'll go back and check the audio and there's freaking reverberation and noises and clicking, and I'm like, oh, I'm so mad because it was such a good take and I just did that. So I'm telling you, because I've made the mistake too many times, put your phone on airplane mode. It also keeps you from being interrupted by people texting and calling while you're making a tape. There's nothing worse than getting a phone call in the middle of a really good take. I'm telling you, put your phone on airplane mode. You will not regret it. Now that that side rant is done, I want to circle back to being heard and talking about microphones or external microphone sources. If you have a phone that has a really good built-in microphone, it's really not all that necessary to have an external microphone source. But if you live in a noisy area, like I used to live in New York, I don't anymore, but if you live in a noisy area, it might be a good investment to get an external microphone, because it's gonna block out all that background noise, so you won't really have a lot of distracting noise in the background. I do have an external microphone source, and I currently use the Shure MV88 iPhone microphone. It plugs right into the charging port of my iPhone. It's small and compact, so it can travel with me anywhere, and I really do like this microphone, so I'm definitely gonna link it in the description below for you to check that out as well. I'm also gonna go ahead and give you a little before and after on the audio. So this clip is being filmed with the Shure MV88 microphone in my phone. And then this clip is being filmed without the microphone. I now have it in my hand. You can hear the background noise. We have our heater going. There's some stuff outside happening, but you can definitely hear a difference in the tinniness of my voice too. It's not as concentrated. The sound isn't as straightforward into the microphone as it is with this microphone. So definitely highly recommend, if you have a little bit of extra cash, investing in an external microphone source. Not make or break, but if you do have a phone that has a relatively decent built-in microphone, like the iPhone 13 Pro Max or anything of that nature, then that's okay too. It's not necessary. Just gotta make sure that your environment is quiet as can be for your tapes. So there are a million different ways to have a self-tape setup. You just have to find the one that works best for you and your budget and your space constraints and what have you. It does not have to be fancy. It can be something very simple, just as long as the quality of your work as an actor can come through without casting being distracted by lack of quality in the technical elements of your self-tape. I hope this video has been helpful. I've actually been thinking about doing a video about the behind the scenes of my own personal self-tape audition process, maybe a video about some tips and tricks about self-taping in general, more in depth about some of these technical elements. So let me know in the comments below if that's something you would like to see, or if there's something that you would like to see that I haven't covered yet. I'd love to hear those. Don't forget to like this video if it was helpful for you, and subscribe to the channel. Your support really means a lot to me. I'm gonna be trying to produce weekly videos for you guys, so thank you so much in advance for that support. But otherwise, I will see you all at the next video. Bye!